Good afternoon, everybody. Good morning as well. I'm so excited today because I've got the opportunity to speak with Dr. Ricardo Vargas about AI in project management. For those that don't know me, I'm Lloyd Skinner. I'm the CEO of Greyfly.ai. We've created an intelligent project prediction tool that uses AI to improve project success. Ricardo, over to you. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Oh, absolutely. Thank you very much, Lloydie. It's a pleasure to be with you. And my life is all about project management. So I'm an engineer. I'm a chemical engineer with master in industrial engineering, PhD in civil engineer, and all my work since I started working is on the project management side. So I had the chance to create my own company. Then after 10 years, moved from this company to a solo work where I did many works in Africa, in the Middle East, in Southeast Asia. I have written 16 books on the field. I have a quite popular YouTube channel, a quite popular podcast with millions of views, and I was the director of the United Nations Office for Project Services in infrastructure and project management, managing this quite complex humanitarian projects. And I was chairman of the Project Management Institute about 10 years, a little bit more than 10 years ago. And it's a pleasure and a real pleasure to talk about AI in project management, that I think it's absolutely disruptive.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and thank you. And for those that don't know Ricardo, like you said, please do look up his YouTube channel or follow him on LinkedIn. It's such a pleasure to speak today with somebody who was with such authority as well. And you know, like you hinted at there, this is all about AI and project management. I think, as we both know, now is the time to be talking about this subject. And it's really interesting, you know, as I'm sure you do, as you speak to different people, you get different views of what it is and what it could be. If I may, what's your view of what AI in project management is, and what's the use cases that you see?
Okay, that's a very bold question, because as you said, people see what they want to see, right? And sometimes it's very challenging. But in my opinion, AI is the biggest disruptor of our generation. And why I'm saying this? Because every single day someone say, "Oh, this is the biggest disruptor." Then next day, and why AI? Because of the magnitude of the application, and also because the power it can generate to the business and to people. So what we are seeing today on AI is such a massive disruption. And people would say, "Ricardo, why you didn't say this about metaverse? Why you didn't say that?" Because it's just different. You know, all metaverse and all these technologies, they have some roadblocks. I would say, for example, for you to use metaverse, you need to have the device that costs $500 and this. But for you now listening to me to use AI, you need zero. You need nothing. You can get into some very cool AI products, you know, that are on beta just today at this moment, and they are extremely powerful. This is why I see, and I see this with a lot of excitement, Lloyd. But I see this also with a, a bit of, you know, I'm scared sometimes, because the magnitude of the disruption will affect business, will affect the way we do our jobs, and will affect our jobs too. And now, when I say will affect, I'm not saying necessarily for the bad, but it will be different. And this is how I see AI. This is why also, like, I am so engaged on that. This is why I wrote with Antonio the paper on HBR on AI in project management that became on the top of HBR articles for many weeks. And this is why, for example, I accepted your invitation to talk about that, because this is such an important topic.
Fantastic. What an intro. Thank you for that, Ricardo. And HBR, Harvard Business Review, for those that aren't aware. So if we just then take that forward, that, because that was such an interesting introduction in terms of, the massive impact, but also just the slight daunting as well. If we just bring that back to project management a second and think about, how is it going to impact project management? What's at the top of your list?
Oh, okay. The top of my list on the impact will be helping managers to select the right projects using AI. So how you do, because we have an avalanche of opportunities. The second one is to help the project management office on the delivery of projects, building better dashboards, building automated information, building better decision-making support analytics, building better risk management approaches where you combine all the power of this technology to get billions of different data to provide you reliable, thoughtful insights for you to decide. On the top of that, the concept of virtual assistants that will become, I would say, the chat GTPs of project management, where you will have access very easy to a massive knowledge base for you to write, prepare reports. For example, I think what I can see as a main trend is that project management will not be the ability of building schedules or building budgets or building risk registers or preparing status report. These will be done by machines. What will be our task is to dig into this and make the right decisions, engage our teams in the right way to deliver, because all these, I would say, operational aspects of project management will be delivered by AI tools. And I have absolutely no doubt about that. It's not something that I think it will happen. I can tell you, and I hope people will listen to me, it will happen. So
Yeah,
it will happen.
Well, I think it's already starting to happen as well, So I definitely concur with that. So those sort of three key areas that you covered there: selection of projects, delivery and delivery support, and in a way the VA bit is part of that delivery support as well. So if that's in place, what's going to be the benefit of that? What's going to be the takeaway big return on investment for people?
Yeah, what I believe truly is that people will have such a powerful tool at their disposal that they will be able to do more with less. It means that I will be able to deliver projects with a higher success rate, spending less effort, because a lot of the effort and the time I spend in a day will be done by these ultra powerful machines. And these will free up my time to do some other tasks that will deliver a lot of value. So what do I see is that AI alone does not solve. People alone does not solve, but people with the support and the power of AI together today, then they can deliver much more. They can have a much more set of insights to make the right decisions. And this is how I see that. And you said perfectly, it's already happening. But what I can say is that in 1 year from now, 1 year, and 1 year is nothing, things will be completely different, because the pace AI is evolving is not fast. It's dramatic. Just to give you a number, every week, more than 300 new apps on different fields come. And these, of course, I know that some of these will not succeed, or they will. But what is the most important point is that AI is taking such a mainstream road there is a point of no return. People will not say, okay, I will not use AI. And I love to let me use one thing. Elon Musk, and I love that. Elon Musk 10 days ago was saying we need to stop all AI developments in AI because this is dangerous. Yesterday,
I know what you're
stop
going to
AI.
say.
And this is the reality.
Yeah.
It's something you cannot fight against.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I mean, I was speaking to somebody else quite eminent the other day, and I was saying, look, you've just got to get on your bike. It's, in a way, it's not about, like we touched on, when it will happen. It's happening. How do we make the most of it? What benefits can we see? All of that great stuff. Now, I wonder, do you think it would be different in terms of AI and project management? Do you think it would be different in terms of, which sector you work in, or, would the solutions differ by different types of projects? What do you think about that type of dimension?
I think that we will have a set of AI applications. Like Greyfly, for example, a set that will, in different levels, in different business, empower the people leading and managing their projects. So in different aspects of their universe. I don't think we'll find something that will solve all the problems for everybody, but in some specific, for example, risk management. I have no doubt that all this analytics about, for example, probabilities, how do you estimate the risks of you are making a wrong estimate, these will be there, and people will use that. And why? Because in the past, to do that, it was a massive effort. You need to study a lot, you need to do a lot. With these AI, I would say normal people, normal pros can have massive, valuable insights coming from AI. These on all aspects, because traditionally we used to say, okay, we need to do a lot of analysis, a lot of simulations. When you use AI, the simulation is there. Every time you go on ChatGPT and prompt something, there is a probabilistic model being built billion times in a second. And what is the power? It's the combination of the technology with the database. And this is exactly what will empower project managers. I am, just to use myself as an example, like, it's not that I talk about AI. I'm using AI now, today, in my projects, today, in different things. Let me give you an example, not only in managing projects, but some of the work packages I need to deliver, I'm delivering them through AI. For example, if I need to build a brand, and this is part of the scope of my project, and I think I need to brief an agency and do this, I can use an AI tool that can deliver a brand, a logo, a message, or validate a business case in a matter of seconds. Another part in software, these are real things. I can use AI to test. There are tools to test software. Instead of having a group of people testing, or instead of releasing these to a small community to test it, I can use AI, and I can test with 1 million users that do not exist, but they will explore through AI failures on my coding. So, and this in seconds. This is not in days or weeks.
And let's not forget, everybody's talking about ChatGPT. We're at ChatGPT 4. Like you said, in a year's time, are we going to be at 5 or 6 or 7? And just think about how much more powerful that would be. So obviously, you and I are big supporters of the benefits of AI in project management, and want to, like you said, talk about getting people up to that more creative level, to solve bigger decisions, etc. But if I just take a slightly more negative impact a second, and I think you touched on it right at the beginning in terms of being a disruptor, people immediately think about, the negative impacts of that. Do you see some negative impacts coming?
Oh, Definitely, yes, definitely. And there is no, for me, what I learned is that there is not nothing that can disrupt and be only positive. There is nothing. There is nothing. And just to make you a quote, one of the books that I read is from Saramago, and I read it in Portuguese because and it's called Intermitências da Morte, means the the how the death could impact people's life, and it's just a history that is just to paraphrase. It tells the history that the day that death stopped working, so people stop dying. They get old, but they don't die in that country. And then in the first moment, everybody say, "Oh, this is fantastic. We now have endless life, right? We will live forever." But then the book that shows it's not like that. Even this great thing that people don't die comes with a massive disruption. So people start to get sick, but they don't die. Then hospitals overflow, then tax, then retirement, pension. It's a full collapse of the society because of a positive. Why I'm saying this? Because AI is the same. It has this thing that make my eyes, bright and see all this fantastic. But we will need to be extremely careful. On the first thing, it's that we will come to a new level of what true and fake things are. What is a true report of a project? What is a fake report? What is a fake contract? What is a fake supplier? Because I can build on AI a company and I can promote a company and everything that does not even exist. So this is something. The second is about the job. We, like you and I, and many of the people listening, we are fortunate of being able to be an early adopter of this. But I need to be honest. The vast majority of the project managers, they have never used an AI. They had never. They don't even know what is coming. And this is why I'm doing this, I would say, these webinars to say, people, open your eyes. And if people do not adapt to this new trend and this new tool, they will be out of the job. They will. So, and I don't want to say this just in a very negative, but we need to learn in a continuous pace and make the best use. And for those who are not capable of learning, adapting, and challenging themselves on the way they do their work, tomorrow they will not be needed anymore. And this is the downside. And this is a problem that people have on themselves, but also the society in general need to take care, because we cannot move forward bringing every day less people to the mainstream and more people staying outside, and this, I think, is the biggest challenge. Because, of course, look, when the Industrial Revolution came and all of this came, of course, we had a massive disruption. But we need to, I would say, retrain these people, get to these people new knowledge so they can also deliver on that. This, for me, I think it will be one of the biggest challenges we'll face.
I agree. And, with your early examples, like testing that can be done a million times by a machine rather than a whole army of people, or maybe the project controls function that is, heavily involved with people doing lots of risk analysis. If you can do that instantly, why would you need so many people? So for me, obviously that could be kind of scary, but I think the way that you've articulated, back to get on your bike, work out what it's going to be, work out how your role is going to change. It doesn't necessarily need to be scary, as it were. I think for me also, this brings us really nicely onto, if we've got this exciting future, albeit slightly a bit of a chaotic moment at the moment. How does a company prepare for that, Ricardo? I mean, what should it be doing now?
Yeah, okay, that's great too. For me, first, the executives, they need to understand that this is something that they could not avoid. You know, they could not say, oh, this is just something that will just pop up and go down. This is not true. This is not true because technology is shaping everything. So they need to increase this awareness. The second thing is that they need to learn and be interested in see what is going on. For example, I subscribe several newsletters I watch because I want to know what is happening in different fields to understand how these will impact my work as a project manager. I just gave you some examples of that. Now I'm using just to today I use an AI tool that takes a PDF, a large PDF, a book or a massive report. And I took this in a massive report, 37-page report. And I just wrote a question. Is this project good or not? And I pressed enter. And using AI, it analyzed all the text. It combined it with everything and came back to me and said, it's good on this, good, it's not so good on that. And with reference to the points in the report. Bottom line, as a project manager, what did this mean to me? Instead of spending 3 hours reading with my marker, checking what I would do in this, I got very solid insights with the references. So when I said that and I said, this is interesting. This was this morning. Then you click and you go on the page where that AI shows the evidence of that statement. You know, I got prepared in 5 minutes, maybe less than that. I just want to use this as an example. This is something that AI is doing for me as a project manager. For example, a dashboard that can show me real trends. For example, saying this. For example, I saw one AI that takes photos of construction sites, and based on the photos, it progress report. It's not the engineering progressing sending reports anymore. The photo already say, okay, this means 13%, 15%, 16%. And these automatic, so the engineer does not report at the end of the week what we did this week. No, it's what we did, we already know. It's what we will do. And then the AI can say, you should do this or that. So these are just examples that I'm using now and are in companies, and companies need to use that.
I mean, it sounds to me like you said, executives need to embrace and work it out. It sounds like they need to know what their strategy is or their plan, and they need to get a wiggle on with that as well, because otherwise it's going to be done to them. And if they're not doing it, their competitors will definitely be pushing forward. So, you know, now is the time, I think, is.
Yes, and let me add one point that I missed. It's that you don't need to think big. Think small and get going. You know, what is think small? It's try to start embracing the concept behind AI. Because you know what I feel? Many large companies, they think, oh, we need to take the board and we need to assemble, take the executives and create a strategy on AI that will take 1 year to build. 1 year from now, it's over. It's game over. You are already out. So it's something that you need to test and say, look, let's pilot this. Let's use this kind of tool. Let's have this intelligence brought to our project. But you don't need to do with all projects at every moment and say, no, this is a multi-billion-dollar. No, just start moving and learn, because what is happening today, that every single company is doing that. Even Google is doing that. Google released it yesterday, his new search engine that will look like ChatGPT. And why? Because they know that search will change. And this is something that I'm sure it was not on their plan in 2018. No, it's just something happens and they need to react.
Yeah. It's almost an intelligent search, isn't it? It's intelligent. Yes. It's and that, you know, that demarcation line is getting closer and closer in terms of what knowledge, you know, that you referred to earlier that you can use to deliver projects. And you know, I think it's really interesting where those lines are. Listen, you know, it's just so exciting to speak to you and hear your ideas. If there was one takeaway that you wanted people to hear from this little chat, what would it be?
It's don't be afraid. Because one of the things that make people afraid is lack of knowledge. So if I were you listening to this today, I would now in the next 10 minutes, go and do a search and go into any AI just to understand what we are talking about. So you can remove your fear, because honestly, this is what I did. Because when I saw, I said, what is coming? You know, it's such a wave. And I said, look, the best way to prepare myself is to understand what is in there.
Fantastic. Well, look, that has been absolutely superb, Ricardo. I loved every moment of what you were saying. So thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me today.
Thank you very much, and thank you for all of you that are listening. And I think this kind of discussion is something that is critical for us to bring us awareness and move us forward. Thank you very much, Lodi, for the opportunity.
Thank you, Ricardo.